Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're back in business, here with the showdown between the Greenskins and the Beastmen. It's going to be GRIMGOR Ironhide facing off against Morker the Shadowgave. So, one of my first games back here with Warhammer 2, and I couldn't not bring GRIMGOR. It had to be the man, the myth, the legend, and he's certainly very excited. GRIMGOR is actually, I think, going to be pretty good in domination mode. Now, against the Beastmen, this is kind of old school. Normally, you'll see just a big spam of biggins, although Black Orcs are also a very viable choice because of their durability, their ITP. The armor is very good against Beastmen, considering they have Gore Herds, obviously Centaurs, a lot of units, including Manticores, which don't do a ton of armor piercing, so Black Orcs can be very good. But in this case, decided to go with the big in front line, backed up by the true Chad of Chads, GRIMGOR Ironhide. We do also have a Giant River Troll Hag with Soul Blight. Soul Blight's not bad against Beastmen. If they have like Bestigors, or even against like Minotaurs who have like 30 armor, it can be a pretty big damage buff for your troops. Arachnaut Queen is always quite good here. Very good at killing Manticores, good against Minotaurs. The one thing you really have to watch out for if you're going to be going Arachnaut Queen is that you don't get it surrounded and routed, because its leadership isn't amazing. Right now, its base, I think, is something like 60-something. Yeah, it's like very fickle. 74, and its base leadership is, 65. So if it's surrounded, it can break super quickly. A couple Spider Riders, as well as Forest Goblin Spider Riders. And that's my army. And yeah, Biggins are very good against Beastmen. They lose the Bestigors, but the other infantry they outtrade. And again, the anti-large bonus is quite helpful against some of the bigger threats, right? For Arrow's army, it's going to be Ungor Spears, backed up by Gore Herds in the front. Two Manticores up in the sky here. We got Morker the Shadowgave with his Pimp Claw there, and a Brave Shaman of Shadows with Warhammer 2 Melkoths, not Pendulum, and Enfeebling Foe. A couple elite units. We got Minotaurs in the back, Centaurs with Hounds, more Minotaurs, and yeah, that's going to be it. So the battle's underway. Actually, correction, only one Minotaur. I counted the same one twice, but it's okay. They're all good. Trying to do a little bit of poke, but Arrow is a very savvy tournament player, right? So he is going to be screening out your missiles to the best of his abilities using these kind of chaff units here. Now, this is where if you were playing like Empire or something, you would have your shot cab moving in and running these guys over when his other troops are a little bit too far back. But, we're playing the Greenskins, and this is one of my favorite matchups just because it's fast and furious. Shit just gets wild, right? So Biggins here, going to be getting charged by Centaurs, and here comes the counter charge as well. So the Biggins going to be rumbling in there, and it's pretty crazy how massive Biggins are. They're like literally the same size as these like Centaur people. And that trade went very well. Biggins have a good charge bonus. They have anti-large. We're able to kind of buzzsaw through those guys. So very, very happy about that trade. Now in the middle, we do have a Duel of Fates. We have the Arachnaut Queen getting a big, big fight versus the Feral Manticore. And honestly, these initial trades are going very, very well for me. But where it becomes scary is when the Beastmen start dropping like 50 Chaos Spawn. So I do see a big flank coming. Spider Hatchlings and Forest Goblin Spider Riders going to be swarming over there. But the Manticore is going down. Soul Blight is active. And now GRIMGOR Chadhide is moving through the ranks to duel the Beastmen Lord. And GRIMGOR will absolutely beat the brakes off Morker the Shadowgave. Your next is active, and check it out, guys. He's getting spanked pretty good. Only one hit so far, but GRIMGOR's melee attack is very rock hard, especially against 5 melee defense. And he's going to be able to connect. And look at this, guys. GRIMGOR, an absolute bully, getting in here and pushing back Morker the Shadowgave, bringing him down to like 40% instantly. That is the man that we need in Warhammer 3. He is the savior of the game. So Morker's a little bit quicker, though. He's going to be able to run away. Arrow with a nice tar pit right here. And unfortunately, the Chaos Spawn were able to kind of bunker bust my lines a little bit, right? The flanking, I do have the big spider here. The spider's anti-large bonus helping out quite a bit, dragging down the Minotaurs. The wah has sounded, Fanatics being loosed on the Gore Herd lines. Now GRIMGOR is going to be going after the other Manticore. So he's just basically going after these units methodically. We still have our big Spider Rider Goon Squad, and they're going to be moving over here trying to get Morker to actually rout off the battlefield, which would be very, very strong. The Hag is fighting, doing its best, being taken down by some Centaurs and Spearmen here, but for the most part should be able to hold. But yeah, that's the thing. My infantry kind of folded like a piece of paper, which made me think like, ooh, maybe I needed some Black Orcs or a little bit more durable stuff, or I guess just some more chaff units to take that initial Beastman charge, because man, oh man, my army got folded up in terms of infantry. Now, other aspects of the battle are going quite well. Both spawn units are on the battlefield, and the balance of power is like almost even, which is a decent sign for me, for sure, because once those spawn dissipate here, it's going to become quite a bit better. And here, GRIMGOR, I believe, was able to put some hurt on the Manticore, but Manticore might have gotten away, actually. Yeah, it looks like GRIMGOR beat it up, and the Manticore is running for the hills. Now, Spider Riders have surrounded old Morker here. Unfortunately, he stabilized, which kind of threw a little bit of a wrench in my game plan. I think that if I was able to rout Morker here and chase him off using my Spider Rider core, I think that probably could have been a potential GG for sure, because GRIMGOR and the Troll Hag probably could have soloed almost everything else there. But it looks like Arrow is able to stabilize him, and he gets back with the Hounds and really, really is able to pull a nice one. Centaur's bouncing out here, swarming on top of my Forest Goblin Spider Riders. I did not see that charge coming, and I do end up getting owned a little bit right there. And right now I'm just trying to get my Hag and other characters over here to unify with my Minotaurs. So the Hag is waddling over, trying to team up with the Minotaurs here, while the Arachnaut Queen continues its anti-large reign of terror here on the Minotaurs. Grimgor Ironhide still being a true beast, and honestly, of everything in my army, he's been performing the best. And, you know, I was thinking, okay, maybe Grom the Paunch would have been a little bit more efficient in some ways, maybe like some other characters, but I was like, you know what? I honestly feel like Grimgor has been pretty optimal this game. I think he would have been better than those characters, and he has been so far. Like, he single-handedly drove Morker off, like took down a Manticore, has done very good work, and at this point I'm just trying to get Grimgor back to my other troops here. The Spider Hatchlings, of course, summoning in, but this is the issue with Feral Beasties, right? Like, even though the game's pretty close, if he gets a good surround on me and the base leadership of the Arachnarok really tanks low and Minotaurs get a nice spike of damage, dude, I could be in trouble. And a really good enfeebling foe going down, which is going to be lowering the stats to a pretty pitiful amount of 14 melee defense right there. Grimgor, for some reason, both Arrow and I were laughing in Discord. We were like, why is Grimgor wavering? Is it like 80% health and he's like kicking butt? Just sometimes some weird shit happens, man. But, you know, again, the WoW is consistent. It's going to keep going. So trying to kill Minotaurs. Minotaurs are the big existential threat to me here for sure. He's got 8 right here and 9 right here, which are both very low, but he still are relatively healthy. And now, I believe there's going to be another Spiderling summon. I'm not sure. I can't remember what magic that was. So that was definitely helpful, but the Arachnarok Queen is going to be broken. And Grimgor and company, you know, Grimgor's enjoying this. Despite the fact that the Greenskins are probably going to lose this one, he's doing his thing. You know, he kicks some butt. He'll live to tell another day. And he got about 2,000 value, which is very good. So GG, well played. Those games are fast and furious. I just absolutely love Beastmen versus Greenskins. I think it's one of the most fun matchups after the Beastmen got their changes for sure. And yeah, Grimgor did great. Look at that. He fought like a champ. Ragnarok Queen, not bad. Almost paid for itself. I think I would probably cut the regular Spider Riders and get in like one biggin maybe in the Goblin and get like a couple Black Orcs. That's what I needed. I needed some staying power. I could stay and fight through the chaff and also not just get buckled and surrounded. That had good leadership, right? And the Manticores, of course, caused terror. And even though they didn't do good value, we actually shut the Manticores down super well. I just think the weak link of the build was not having a little bit more durability and or chaff. Like, I could even cut the 2 Spider Riders and the Goblin and just get like, or leave the Goblin and get a bunch of other Goblins to take that initial beating and then follow up with the Biggins. Because the Biggins aren't super tanky and they took a big brutal charge from the Beastmen, Centaurs, Minotaurs, and they died very quickly. So I think that was the deciding factor. Well played, Arrow. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Warhammer 2 is back on the menu, baby. Certainly very excited for this. And, you know, let's actually go to the menu real quick and we can, I recorded a bunch of good games. Oh, what the hell is this filth? Get this out of here. Get this out of my Warhammer 2. And let's go to the Greenskins. Now, Grimgor, you know what? I was very happy with him. He's hard to goon, and he kicked the butt of those Manticores. I do think the Hag is a pretty good choice. Probably just got these abilities. The Slow is always good. You should probably keep that one. And Soul Blight, how did I like Soul Blight? You know what? I think maybe like Doom and Darkness and Aspect of the Dread Knight might be a little bit of a better kit. So we get 2 Black Orcs. We get a couple... Oh, you know what's probably even better is like Savage Orc Biggins. Because they have better leadership, if I'm not mistaken. And they have like the Frenzy and stuff. Yeah. These guys are lawnmowers, man. They do some work. And honestly, the missile-based Spider Riders, I think, like, do a good enough job, so you just kind of go that route. And now do we want to get the Arachnarok Queen? Stone Trolls, like, I don't feel like they've ever been, like, super good against the Beastmen. Minotaurs might trade a little bit too effectively against them, but maybe a 4th Spider Rider would be good. And then another Black Orc would be awesome. And then, oh, the Swamp Things for the Terror route. Yes! This build feels pretty awesome because Swamp Things do cause terror, right? So like getting them in the mix, it's like a little bit cheaper than the Arachnarok Queen and like you don't really care as much if they kind of get gooned. And then you have like a really sustainable infantry core. I love this build. I think this could be great. All right, guys, take care. Hopefully you enjoyed the post-game breakdown as well. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you on the other side.